left, all of a sudden legacy comes in the community. A lot of people say, who is she? Why is she coming in? And, you know, they feel that way. And then when somebody from the community asks, can I get involved? Can I do it? I want to do a program. I want to start a program. You don't get anything from the city council. They just ignore you. And then how are we going to get to the commission if we don't get to the city council? And then, you know, unless we go to the mayor, I guess we have to go direct to the mayor, then we can work it downhill.
I
I would do it that way.
On behalf of the general manager, I'm going to very disrespectful, or I'm going to respectfully disagree with the concept that, you know, as a department employee has been had, because look, I've been in many community meetings.
You're going to disagree for a lot of things. It doesn't matter what.
It's
supposed to be for the community, basically. It's not for the commission, and it's not for the department reg. It's for the community.
And I've answered every question that I've ever been asked in order to deliver that product. The only other person that has some kind of delegated authority to make attempts to answer throughout the knowledge that he or she may have is the local director in charge, and then up through chains. And so I will say that I'm assuming that when Aaron has been asked a question, or if you've come with a program idea to do a program here, I mean, we're not talking there because we're not programming that thing yet, but if you've come with a program here, and
no, we're talking the Armory. We're talking the Armory.
Well, see, but you're talking about...
You're talking legacy, you're talking her, and we're talking the Army. I'm not talking about the Parks and Rec right now.
My job here tonight, because what I asked, because there was a lot of miscommunication out here, is the understanding of what the Department of Recreation and Parks is doing with an organization called Legacy LA in what we see as the future approach.
But you're leaving the community out.
We are not. This department is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what community sees. Believe it or not.
Well, then.
Believe it or not.
I am here to tell all of you in here that that is not true, and if we need to go find the 38,000 other people that happen to be in what we might call the community here, let's find them so I can tell them exactly the same thing. Or
don't ignore them.
Just take that, I haven't yet because they're here. So I would take that tape and share with them the words that I have shared tonight with you so that they can truly understand that the Department of Recreation and Parks has said that over the next 6 to 18 months, that there will be some workshops, there will be some meetings, there will be some process in order to do that. I can't say that enough times, but I've said it 3 times.
No, I understand that.
And it's on there.
Now you're getting a little more clear about a process.
I'm glad.
I didn't understand it. It wasn't getting clear.
Okay, we've got about 15 minutes to entertain more
Yeah,
questions.
also in writing.
Once again, Aaron has the copy of the letter and will share it with the PAB members. Not even wait for the next meeting. You know, I mean, heck, if it's there now, do you have a copy machine?
I got it.
You know, Brenda, go get the letter. I mean, it's a document.
The legacy.
Well, yeah, the letter that the department sent. I mean, you have the whatever it is.
It's a mistake. I'd like to make a resolution.
Hold on. Well, we'll do this, we'll put it to Q&A, and I will re-adjourn the meeting, since the meeting was not formally, this is more of a informal, we did not have a forum, so we have to put a motion on the floor to reopen the meeting.
Let me get a question.
But what I'd like to do, real quick, Mark, if I may, I kind of back with us a lot of questioning tonight to the audience.
Keep in mind, we've got about 15 minutes.
Right, and I have some observations and some questions here. A little bit over a year ago, well, 11 months ago, we submitted a letter and petition to the department. I brought you a copy here today. And this petition asked for a needs assessment on the use of the facility. And 11 months later, that was the meeting you were supposed to come to that night, which we actually rescheduled to fit your schedule that night, but something fell through. And that was a petition signed by the community, and that was a letter directed to the department. We never received anything in writing in response to that letter or the petitions, okay? So I think you understand the perception from the community that all of a sudden we sent a letter out for a needs assessment to have the community give input. One of the ideas mentioned, matter of fact, Lulu was the one that mentioned needs assessment at meeting that night in November back then, okay? Right, and we kept getting put, and this thing got put off until tonight, where you finally are here. And in between that time, when we were waiting for answers from the department or waiting for the needs assessment workshop, and some of this stuff was brought up in the July 3rd meeting over at the council office where Rogelio presided over. You guys understand where some of these perceptions of a lack of communication from the community concerns are being displayed here this evening. Next, there's another perception here, and you gotta be honest, is that Once again, getting back to this letter was signed by over 200 community members. And I was almost to a point where I was even presenting myself to the Rec and Park Commission because I was getting frustrated at the lack of response. Now, earlier you said, you know, you are a bureaucrat, you ought to do your job, but I think a job of a supervisor or management is to respond to your constituents' needs in the community. And this letter is sat unresponded to, so leading out to we're having this meeting this evening. The other observation is that it seemed like other organizations that really within the community, and maybe this is part of access or ability to come to the table with some money, were being put in front of the actual community members who wanted to get involved in the process. Okay? So, understand, all these little issues are what snowball eventually to get the perception that a chosen few are being put in front of the needs and the concerns of the average community person who actually live here and use the park, okay, and go from there. Now, in return to funding, I think there's an article in the Downtown Business News talking about the Quickly account, where I think there's about $80 million in an account where developers put money into for park development, and I'm not sure if that just pertains to the downtown area or we go within the scope of the downtown area, where some of that public money set aside by development fees can be utilized for the Armory complex. So it can actually be more of a private-public partnership where there's public money involved, and then also too, what makes that stand too, and you get a bigger bag, is also you set up another revenue stream of private money coming in. See, these are ideas that we've been waiting to bring to the table, but in a sense until now, you know, we've been waiting for a process, been waiting to hear back, we've been waiting to set up a workshop, a needs assessment workshop, a mechanism of getting out these ideas, trying to find partners to bring in to grow a project together, so eventually when this project is done, the community has ownership and the park is still, in a sense, maintains the integrity of the whole park together with the Armory included in the park complex. And so, my thought is, going back to July 3rd, we had talked about putting together a governing board of different organizations within the community, whether it be a PAP board, whether it be organizations like Northeast Street, the Sierra Club, the RAC, all the stakeholders. We need to put together the governing board underneath the auspice, work together to work this project through from the developmental stage to the end stage where we're ready to break ground on this. And my ultimate goal would be to see that a governing body made of community members is in place to help maintain the sustainability in concert with working with recreation and parks in the end when we're ready to go. But I think those are the observations I had, and those are the things I want to put on the table here. So, and that's where I stand on that.
Once again, let me say a couple things. You've known me for a long time. You know the department process. As this letter comes in, and I unfortunately have to tell you what the process is, but as this letter comes in, it gets sent to the general manager's office, because that's, you know, that's right where I think it went. It went to the commission. It goes through a process. That process, which probably went to planning and construction, wherever that is, it could be in limbo, it could not be in limbo, but it's not assigned to the metro region for response. And so, once again, I can't speak for the rest of this department, but what I will tell you I will do is go back again and ask where this process is for this answering of this, although you, as you said, clearly, it's still too late in the process, but respectfully, where that is, that's one. The second thing is, Quimby, if the PAB wants to hear a report, we will bring our Quimby expert and give you that report. I am not the Quimby expert, and so, yes, there was an article in the news. I will tell you that there are issues with that may or may not have been accurate, but that's not mine to say. So to talk that like it's there, it's an unfair process for this meeting anyway. The third thing is waiting for the process. The department is just beginning, which is why you kept hearing there were a bunch of things out there. The process hasn't started, and the process is starting with one. We've gone through the September 15th, and now we're moving forward, and we hope that even as I said, the fall of 2009, with being able to go to the commission in February, spring or summer of 2009, is the process. But I can't be 100% accurate that that's even the dead, the date lines because we're still in some discussion. And the last thing is that the governing board is, when we get to the operation of that, that is our intent, that there's a governing board. Now, I will tell you, as superintendent of this region, right at this minute, is it going to be that the department staff person, that there's one person for the entire park in charge, or there will be 2 directors in charge? I haven't gotten that far yet to figure out what that strategy will be, because I truly believe it's going to be a combination of what we hear over the next 12 months, what we then figure out, when there's some improvements that need to be done, and how we go about doing that, and what that is also going to require in the sense of, if we use any public dollars in any of the improvements that are related to Prop 12, Prop 40, Prop K, all these props that will require, like a LVNOC, local, whatever, volunteer neighborhood oversight committee, all those things, that process speaks for itself at the funding mechanism at the time that it's at. So, I hope I tried.
Well, why don't you look at a construction process before you even get in
Stop.
on what
I
the
got a
program's
question.
gonna be? I wanna know that.
Because you can't figure out what the construction is if you don't know what the deliverables need to be at the end. Now,
I'm just saying,
Like I
you're
said-
talking construction, but before the program, it sounds to me.
it's a combination of the whole, that's why.
Okay,
you
yeah,
go through.
okay, then
Yeah,
I would say the program's first, then the construction.
Well, yeah, it is that concept of what we want to see, at the end.
Okay, hold on here. Let me see a show of hands of people who want to have questions real quick. We're getting down toward the end, so raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to start with Jose, Carrie, and then David.
Okay, in the needs assessment that never took place, and there was already predetermination, have Legacy conduct a study, not actual possession. I want to see if I understood that right. So the needs assessment would also have to include the restoration project here that we're supposed. I've been here for a year, and I heard there's been some studies done, but there hasn't been any physical restoration done, and that's already been over a year. And I have the videotape of that. I have all the promises and pledges on tape, so I'm gonna have to make that public to see where we're at. That's number one. That also would encompass a needs assessment that never took place. Number two, I'm still trying to figure out if the $720,000 of that, was it a Heal the Bay money or Save the Bay money?
The mitigation money.
What was the name of the fund?
Mitigation for the sanitation settlement.
Yeah, that has never materialized. And I'm trying to figure out whatever happened to that settlement. And I would like, how much is 720,000, right?
Give or take, it's just 700,000 round up.
Okay, and that money was supposed to be geared for the restoration project that has not been conducted. Now, there's been studies. Now, I don't know how many, I know there's been a water table study, but I don't know if there's been any additional studies, Terry, but the thing is, I haven't seen that money materialize. I haven't seen a needs assessment to identify the need for the restoration of the wetlands project, and it hasn't been a needs assessment to figure out what we could do as far as the thing. And then another issue is there's a separation, right? Is that part of Hazard Park, or is that going to be a separate entity from Hazard? That's another question. Is that going to be part, because I heard there's 2 park directors, or going to be 2 separate boards? I'm confused, because I'm thinking maybe the PAD board could be, the official advisory board for the whole park, which includes the Armory. I don't know if there's going to be a separate board, and is the Armory going to be a separate entity, or separate? It's going to be separate from Hazard Park. The last I understood, it was supposed to be separated from Hazard. So maybe I'm just confused there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can help me understand that question.
Okay, so I have 3 main questions. I'm going to go to the last one first on separate boards.
Yeah.
I answered that, and I'll tell you again, I don't know the answer to that yet, and I said that as we do the 6 to 18 month process, it may become clearer to me as the manager of this, third of the city. But right now, I don't know that answer. So, so there's the answer again, I hope. The 722K money and that whole concept there, once again, if you want, I will, because I don't have the answer, and it really is even more than the council, but if you want to take a stab at that, I'd be willing. But I would say that it's a combination of, different city agencies that theoretically, if you want the answer from that part of it, I mean, I don't know what you want to share politically, but bureaucratically, we'd have to bring those bureaucratic people that can answer that here. And that would have to be, a different agendized meeting for something, because once again, I'm answering legacy issues tonight. That's what I asked for the special meeting to be. And the third thing is the needs assessment, is that I truly understand you're asking for a needs assessment. It might do the whole thing, or almost like your thing of a master plan. But right now, our agreement that we have talked about with Legacy LA is to focus very specifically on that part of the property up there, the building and parts of the grounds out there, and that's what we're looking at right now. So I truly hear that you would like to see a much broader range of things. Maybe someday we could find that, but we're going through a needs assessment right now for the entire department, and I would encourage each and every one of you to be part of that process and go share those thoughts of needs assessment issues locally in a park and more regionally when we do those meetings that start, and you're going to see the list. I've started seeing some of the lists, but I don't know if you want to take that step.
I just wanted to stay on the point of Rogelio Navarro from the Council District Court.
Right.
I didn't want to broaden the discussion.
Right.
But my understanding from the last, from Reckon Parks was that twofold. One, that the Legacy LA project and the sort of Armory restoration project is and should be viewed as an opportunity. And part of it is because the understanding that Reckon Parks gave to our office is that a specific individual needs assessment for Hazard Park in particular was not something that the department could do based on the funding available at the time. And so an opportunity has presented itself in the form of Legacy LA and potential, not potential, but realistic funding monies from foundations to help us essentially do that needs assessment. So it's a needs assessment in a different form, but my understanding was that Reckon Parks did not have the money specifically to do one for here. They'll be doing one for the city as a whole, which is a much broader, much more abstract, much less detailed study and survey of exactly what the different parks are. But correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's very accurate.
Okay, hold on.
In here it says lease agreement.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Hold it.
We have an order.
Yeah, we had an order. Yeah, I'm talking about the Terry and David.
I'm concerned about this.
And you have to wait until other folks are.
On the needs
I hear things
assessment.
that seem right.
Pete,
So on the needs assessment, I thought the mayor specifically and the controller wanted to see the parks get these needs assessments. Nothing's been done in 5 years. So our group here, our PAB, volunteered several hours one evening to wordsmith the survey. We have this wonderful survey. Our teenagers are volunteering to administer it. We'd like to produce some results ourselves. Is there a problem with that?
And you can turn all that into when they do that process.
And there were, outreach that Lou did a couple weeks ago with neighbors that were talking about the traffic issues, the circulation, ADA accessibility. So there's a lot of things, Mark, that I don't think the department can afford to not look at.
The lighting issue?
Because you're saying there's no money, I would think that the council office would want point of information.
Okay.
Okay,
Hold on. We did establish an order, so Juanita, I'll let you go after David, but let me get David in.
Yeah, quick issue. Mark, you brought up the example of Exhibition Park. They have a number of great things there with the California African American Museum, the Science Center. There's a number of things that have been developed over the years. My question is, in terms of the process, I'm having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around this. So Jenny and Lou are going to facilitate over the next 6 to 18 months a public process where folks are going to be able to come in, give input over programs, over organization, over pretty much starting from scratch, right? Is that an accurate statement?
The goal of that 18-month process is to have an architectural programming plan based on what the community says they want there, and a business plan that will support that programming. There's no programming now. We're talking about a process of planning.
Okay. Juanita?
Okay, just to remind Mr. Mariscal, the Laura Chick did an audit on Reckon Parks Department. And out of that audit, actually there's 4, okay? And I won't go into them, because go online, look under Reckon Parks, and you must read those audits. Okay? And it was mandatory to have needs assessment at all Reckon Parks parks. I don't know if it includes swimming, who, I don't know if it includes Rec and Parks senior centers, because they're not on Rec and Parks now, or daycare centers. And we've been patiently waiting for a whole year to work with Rec and Parks, okay? I have not yet gotten Sierra Club involved in that. And I chair the Urban Park Committee. And it has been bugging me that Rec and Parks has not done the needs assessment. They all want to go to Laura Chick and ask her, where in the audits is it mandatory, according to her department, okay? And this is what we've been very patient. That's why Scott went through all his petition process. And I commend him on that because that took time. And that was disrespectful of the park, management, overlook the work he put in there, okay? And so at this point, you have to put up with our anger at Rec and Parks. And I don't just deal with Hazard Park, because you did give away MacArthur Park's band shell to the Levitt Foundation. You are giving away Griffith Park land to nonprofits. This is the pattern that is being set up by Rec and Parks. So why should we, how should I put it diplomatically, take your word or take anybody's word that comes in and represents the mayor or the council person?
You're wrong, Juanita.
Okay.
You've heard it from me before, and I will say it again on the record, right
All
here,
right.
to let you know again that we did not give away that band shell to the Levitt Foundation. There is a program element that they are doing on behalf of the community for 50 years. They have it 3 hours a day for 5 days a week for 10 weeks during the summer. And so for 81% of the time, or whatever that calculation was, that band shell is actually, first of all, 100% of the time it's the cities, and 81% of the time it's programmable by the department, and the rest of the time that it's not, it's programmable for the community on behalf of the community. So if you're going to state that you want people to hear that as you blast the department, and I've said this to you very respectfully again, that we have given away stuff, I have to again rebut and say that you are not accurate in your statement, and I would hope that as we clarify that for you and do that you make the correction and state to people that maybe you didn't state it correctly. I'm not saying that you're 100% wrong, I'm saying that you're not saying it correctly, because once again, out of fairness to all of the people that would hear your statement, it would seem like we're giving away
We have
land.
no
And
oversight
it's
or
wrong.
supervision on the funding accepted by those nonprofits.
Okay, so
I'm
once
not
again,
even going to go
that's a
into that
viewpoint.
direction.
That's
okay?
a viewpoint.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
Today is an organization that helps continue to sustain the organizations that the department, because the only people that can enter into those agreements is the Rec and Park Commission with then council. So it's going to be a combined, I will say that there will be a combined issue, just like when we get the Amundsen Foundation or we get Nike or all these groups that come in and give us dollars to things, we all work together with them. I mean, I've got a report that's going to commission in 2 weeks on a whole Nike proposal for a process, once again, that is delivering, capital improvements in a sense. So yes, I mean, but it's still a combined effort and a public
But
process.
whose idea was this about the lease agreement?
I'm going to say
I
that
understood, she said it was funding. Now all of a sudden they want to lease the
It was
property.
a
Joel
survey
Alvarez,
study.
I will put unfortunate good old JA in the initials here, Joel
So he
Alvarez.
misunderstood it.
That's, because once again, have you